So, it's that time of year once again where everybody's talking about the next installment of the WWE games franchise, and NBA 2K have just switched over to a 2K20 logo and are beginning to post on social media, and usually when that happens, WWE games aren't far behind, so it's getting exciting. And of course, plenty of YouTubers are now talking about what they want and what they expect for WWE 2K20, and we've been talking about it too on the channel. But with all this in mind, it got me thinking about what's really important for a WWE game. And I was looking at comments on my channel, and I always get comments like this. For example, that bug really ruined the gameplay for me, ruined a match for me. Or, I wish the referee wouldn't do that because him doing that spoilt my match. Or, I wish the AI had better intelligence to make the matches more fun or more realistic. And then on the flip side, I get, comments such as, give us GM mode, improve universe mode. I really like the showcase. What can they do this year? So it kind of comes down to two key areas. That's what I've knuckled it down to. Gameplay or game modes. And if 2K had to ask you the question and say, what do you want us to take a deep dive into this year and focus on the most, what would you pick? And you only can pick one, and that's where all our focus, all our attention will go. Gameplay or game modes? That's the question I'm putting to you, and I want you to answer with only one in the comments. You can, open up about that, but I want you to pick one. Originally, and I still am, I was championing for improvements to universe mode to make that mode better, because if you look at my universe mode and you look around at other YouTubers, for example Murph's YT13, and I'm not tooting my own horn here or his, but if you actually go and look at those universe modes, you will find that there's plenty of stuff, and I do get those questions in my comment section. How did you do this? How did you do that? And I end up, covering most of it in the Master of the Universe series, which you can check out on my YouTube channel. But my point is there's plenty of things that are created that should and could be implemented into the in-game version of universe mode, making it fun for you, the player, and more realistic for you, the player. So it does relate to what happens with WWE. So I do think there is improvements that need to be made, and I am fully aware of the audience that wants a GM mode to return. And my response to that would be that I think it would be better to have a combination of the two, GM mode and universe mode. So, you take some bits from GM mode and put them in under the universe mode banner. I think that could work. And of course, at the moment with WWE, they are really ramping up the talk with the new executive directors, Paul Heyman for Monday Night Raw and Eric Bischoff for SmackDown Live. So maybe they could play into that also. But, I know that universe mode could have some fantastic improvements. So that was why I was championing that initially. However, I'm not going to stop championing that, but I gradually began to think about, what am I playing a WWE game for most of the time? And I spoke about this in my previous video. It's for the matches. Like recording stuff for WrestleMania, Universe Mode WrestleMania. We do all of it in exhibition, and we're playing matches constantly. And what's the biggest bugbearer is bugs and issues with the game. Now, if you had an arcade mode, which was separate to the simulation-based mode within the game and the gameplay, bugs and glitches and all sorts of things like that could be quite fun in an arcade mode. But for a simulation-based game, bugs can ruin matches. So I began to think, maybe this is a key area that 2K should be focusing on more than just bringing in modes. You know, because you've got universe mode. If they spent all their time focusing on GM mode, would they really go and address issues that are already in a WWE game? We know that it's likely we'll have another 2K showcase. That takes time. And obviously as well, there's plenty of focus on the women this year. So why not a Women's My Career? Again, if they do that, that's going to require more resource and more focus. And all of that could culminate in the gameplay being neglected. And I kind of think, well, I spend most of my time playing the game, playing the matches, and there's still bugs in the game that have gone throughout the entire transition from 15 to 19. I feel like the referee, we spoke about it before, hasn't improved that significantly. He still gets in the way, he still causes problems. I feel like the AI could still have better intelligence to not make mistakes, for example, just stomping mid-air or continually spam running at me. There's just things that don't work and get repetitive within the gameplay. The gameplay outside the ring could be more entertaining. There could be more mini games added to the gameplay, so it gives you more options. There's lots of things that could be done to tighten up the gameplay. So although I was on that side of championing universe mode, make universe mode the best possible mode it can be. And that will appease everybody, because on the 2K forum, it was the most requested area. Everybody was going in there, giving their feedback. There were so many comments there. I mean, compare that to 2K Towers, no one seemed to care. So although I saw that focus, I was also thinking now that gameplay for me is what I play the most. And if, for example, there was major improvement, like let's say 2K stepped back, took a deep dive into the gameplay and eliminated the bugs, created an alternative arcade mode so you have different playability, also knuckled down on the simulation based gameplay to make it more competitive, which would then open the game up online, make those servers more robust, and you could have competitive gameplay which then results in tournaments. And you can see how kind of exciting it gets when you start building that gameplay and it gets better and better and better. You know, it makes it cool. It makes the game more exciting, because I'd love to go online and challenge someone and have a competitive match, but you can't do that now because people spam the gameplay. So I think if 2K did really focus on that, and not just that, just playing the game as a casual fan, picking up a controller and playing it, if you get a really frustrating ending to that match, like for example, there's times within the game where the AI will stomp on me and he'll pin me and I'll lose the match off that, because it's come at a time it should be thinking, the AI should have the intelligence to think, we've been going quite a while now, so this match needs to finish off a big move or a small package or roll up, a quick finish, something like that, but something that's exciting and you're like, oh damn it, wow, you know. If it ends with a stomp and a pin, you're just like, oh come on, really? After the epic match with tremendous spots, we finish on a stomp and a pin. And I'm not talking about a curb stomp here, I'm talking about just, you know, a stepping stomp. Meh. So, you know, I really think that ruins your gaming experience. And most of my time, and as I said before, playing or creating the matches for Universe Mode WrestleMania, I'm beginning to realise that I'm spending so much time playing these matches, and even just, you know, creating matches for commentary videos. I always like to put on a good match. I like you guys to be able to watch something and enjoy it as well as part of my commentary. I don't tend to, you know, just let a match be a glitch fest or a botch fest. And that's something we've always prided ourselves on with the channel, is to create cool matches and have things look good. And that takes a lot of manipulation from me and my brother as players. We have to actually manipulate that. And what would be better is if the AI was just more gifted and the AI could do the job, you could really create some fantastic matches with the AI. Now, I'm not completely knocking it down, because you can get good matches, but there's always a little bug in there. And then there's people out there like Brodos. If you haven't seen them, check them out. I will link them in the description box, just as I will do Murphs. But there's people like Brodos who enjoy the bugs because that's the sort of content that they make. And it's not just about content creators, it's about players. Do you like the more glitchy, buggy moments so you can have a good laugh? Well, if you do, then there should be a separate part where those things can happen, maybe with sped up gameplay, and we have it as an arcade mode. So gameplay is key. So, with all that in mind, the question I'm putting to you guys, where should the focus go? If 2K said to you, you can only pick one, gameplay or modes, and 2K were going to focus on that and make it the best that they possibly can, dive into one of those areas, and like I say, they would either conjure up a GM mode or an epic universe mode, or they just go in and focus on the gameplay and make it really entertaining, giving you, the split, the divide that you want, arcade, simulation. Eliminate the botches and the glitches for the simulation based mode, make it competitive so you can actually go online and have some great matches too, and spend your time just enjoying playing the game. What would you choose and which would you prefer? And I'm saying you have to pick one. So let's say the budget is going into one of these areas. Where does it go? If you pick modes, I'd like to hear what you'd want from that mode or that chosen mode, because again, when you say modes, some people might not want 2K Towers. I didn't really want 2K Towers. I didn't really think it presented anything extra, because again, the key of that is playing matches, and the gameplay sometimes lets you down. So you've got towers, but actually you're just playing matches, and then the gameplay hasn't really evolved enough. So you see what I'm saying? It's gameplay again. It always does come back to gameplay if you do think about it. The only way it doesn't is if you have like really good stories, really good cutscenes, things that get you enthralled, and things that are creative, and of course that kind of comes under the combination of a universe GM and story creator. So that would be one big mode. And then you've got the other modes around it. Showcase, my career. If you pick modes, let me know what you want from those modes. But if you pick gameplay, is that what's more important to you? So I said my piece, and I do think it's an important area because I've been watching videos and everybody's kind of having their say at the moment of what they want, what they expect. And like I said, I was one of these people that was definitely, I want some improvement for universe mode, not just as a creator. I just think it really would help you guys because I can see that you wanted it. Looking at the forum, that was where all the comments were going. That's where all the feedback was going, that and the community creations. However, with gameplay, you're playing the game all the time. So if the gameplay is not good, you're probably not going to play the game very much, regardless how good the modes are. So I've begun to appreciate just how important gameplay is. I've always appreciated it, particularly when there's constant or there's like a bug that always happens and you think, oh, I've got to avoid that, got to make sure I try and... But, you see what I'm saying. And I do think sometimes people overlook something like that, which in a way is quite subtle, really, to focus on the gameplay. Because people say, oh, we just want fun. Well, do you know what I would find fun? Maybe I'm a boring one. I would just like really entertaining competitive matches, either by me playing the AI or the AI playing together where I can watch it unfold. I get that in UFC sometimes. Or simply being able to go online and not have a spam fest because the AI is more intelligent to not let that happen. Or, even if someone's playing, it won't let you do that. There's restrictions and rules and things and set up around it. Gentlemen's rules, you know how we roll. But you see what I mean? So when people say they want more fun, what does that really mean? Because for me, fun would be having really legit gameplay, but also an alternative so I can just kind of switch off from time to time and let chaos unfold. So I have the arcade mode, but then if I want to get into the nitty gritty and have some real competitive matches, I can do so with the simulation based gameplay. For me, that's fun because my focus is playing matches, and I think that is a massive bulk of the game because it's a wrestling game after all. Gameplay is important. So if I had to pick one or the other, modes or gameplay, it's very difficult, but I would say if I just had to choose one and say to 2K, look, can you focus on this? I would say look at gameplay and give us what I've just mentioned. Those alternatives, but also some really competitive gaming. Go for that. Because like I said, the more and more that I think about it, gameplay is where it's at. That's what you're focused on. That's where you spend most of your time. Or, I know people spend time in the creation suite, but what are you creating superstars for? To play in matches. So that's what I'd say now. That's not to say that if I get the opportunity, and I am luckily, I can never say that, lucky enough to attend any 2K events this year, I will also be thinking about universe mode and improvements that need to be made. So there will be things that I would be asking about. But I'm very interested in hearing from you at this point in time and knowing, where would you put the focus? In the gameplay or in the modes? And if you choose modes, then I'd like to hear what modes, and also what modes would you like removed and added, and what modes should be improved. Have your say. I think it's a real interesting talking point, considering everybody's talking about what they want and what they don't want this year. And I think this is kind of a little bit more subtle as such. It's not, barking about every single issue and every single problem. This is more just, the gameplay is okay, but it could be tightened up and made a lot better. That could just make it the best WWE game if you just had that good gameplay. So anyway, I've said my piece, and now it's over to you. Get involved in the comment section, and hopefully soon we will have some details about the next WWE game, but we will all have to wait. Like I said, NBA have made a few updates, and usually WWE games are not far behind. But for now, let's keep this conversation going. Have your say in the comments, and please rate, comment and subscribe. This is Delzinski signing out.